Hello everybody, welcome to the Squirtle Live Coaches Preview. This is the Class 2A version as we're looking ahead to the 2017 football season. My name is Michael Swisher, sitting alongside Joey Reinart of the Chisholm Longhorns. First of all, Coach, thank you for joining us here.
Yep, thanks for having us.
As I said, this is the Class 2A preview, and Chisholm, when you talk about some of the top teams in the class, Chisholm has certainly been right there the last couple of years. Last year, you get to the semifinals. The year before that, I believe state runner-up. It wasn't always that easy for you there at Chisholm as you're entering year number 9 here, but what are we thinking about this year's squad?
Well, they're right in line with those last couple of years. We've gotten a situation where the foundation's been built really well, and our younger kids are just kind of waiting their turn.
Yeah.
They're part of the process, and they know that next year it's their turn to step up, and we've got some kids that can really play, that are going to step into those roles that we have left behind by All-Stater last year, Mason McKee, another really good wide receiver. We lost Colton Wickert to Northwestern, and we lost a lot of production for Connor Pasby at the running back, but we've got guys that are very capable of stepping into those spots.
Who are a couple of those guys that we could look for this year?
Well, first and foremost, you got your quarterback back, 14 games under his belt as a sophomore, so he's got a lot of experience. Mason's younger brother, London, he's going to be a very productive guy. Played mostly defense for us last year, but he's going to jump in on the offensive side and play a big role. T.C. Smith, another dynamic player, not very big, but he is fast and he's quick and he's very, very, very good. Has good ball skills. I mean, he can go make plays. Cade Bellini, a kid that got second in the 100-meter dash and 3A, so he's got some speed at wide receiver. And then we got some 4 guys back on the offensive line, which is going to be huge for us.
Yeah.
And a couple tight ends. Noah Hans, a junior, 6'4", 220, big, good player, physical kid, can catch the ball when we split him out. And Devin Fulgham was a really good H-back blocker type kid. So.
And I know you've got the players, but you've also got the numbers, and I know that has grown each year. I remember talking to Coach Rick Lujan at Hennessy just 4 or 5 years ago, and he kept saying, just watch out for Chisholm, for Chisholm, because they're building, and Coach Reinert's doing a good job over there. And we've certainly seen those results. Now, District 2A1, speaking of Coach Lujan, you guys had to dethrone Hennessy a couple of years ago. They kind of had a stranglehold on that district. You guys have been able to win that a couple of years, trying to do that a 3rd year in a row. Obviously, you'll have to deal with Hennessy. I know Alba is another team that will look to be in contention this year. Anybody else in that district we could look for?
Yeah, definitely those two. And then you can't count out Perry. They've got good numbers in their program too, and they've always have really good athletes. It's just a matter of can they keep it together long enough to get through the pretty brutal district schedule. In Tonkawa, they're
always
notoriously tough kids, scrappy, and so they're always going to give somebody a fight. So you got to kind of keep them in mind for those playoff spots.
When you're coaching against Alva, do you see how many times you can get Taylor Schwetfeger to throw down his visor or his headset?
Yeah, we got a good relationship.
Always fun to make fun of Coach Schwetfeger when you get a chance. When you look at the class, it's tough, man. Like I said, we'll finally graduate somebody like B.J. Bradbury. Seems like he's been around for 18 years. But there's no shortage of good players, which means there's a lot of good teams. And we're starting this year kind of where we ended last year with Millwood at the top. You said before we went on the air, you make a list of the top players in the state, and you can point out to about half of Millwood's roster. Obviously, Millwood's going to be good. According to the AP poll, which Squirtle will have its own comprehensive rankings coming out very soon, but the AP poll just released, Millwood is number 1. Victory Christian, last year's runner-up, number 2. Davis, a team you always talk about when you're in Class 2A, number 3. Your Chisholm Longhorns come in at number 4 this year, and Adair in a tie with Holland Hall at number 5. Those are the top 5 teams in the state according to the AP, which is a bunch of different writers here in Oklahoma. Do you disagree with any of that? Do you agree with it?
No, I think it's pretty close. B.J. Bradbury is going to be really tough to replace. They've done a good job of building their culture and their system there at Adair, but man, he made it go. He was the key to that. And then after this year was their good class. They're still waiting on a couple younger classes to come through, but I think Holland Hall gets all those. They're going to be right there in the mix with all those top 5 teams, and along with Washington.
Yeah, now that Holland Hall's in the OSSA, you got to wonder, how they're going to build up there in Tulsa. Certainly, you got Holland Hall and Victory Christian, tough to deal with. A team here in this part of the state that maybe sometimes flies under the radar, but has given teams like Davis all they wanted in years past, and that's Christian Heritage. And I know they've got some really talented players too.
They do a really good job of, you think, oh, they can't be as good this year, but man, their system and the way, they coach their players, they're good in space, and they just got a couple good playmakers. But it's pretty impressive how they continue to keep putting it together.
But as far as you're concerned, I mean, is it, is everybody chasing Millwood, or is there?
Well, I think so. They're the defending champions, and they get everybody but one guy back. So it's definitely, you kind of put them out in front of everybody by quite a bit of a margin.
You mentioned some of your players and then some of the other top players in the class, and we talked about Millwood. Montrell Wilson, quarterback, threw for over 2,600 yards and 31 touchdowns. They've got a good Damari Houston, wide receiver, almost 1,000 yards receiving. They got a huge lineman. So, I know that Millwood's got a lot of players. Is there anybody out there that you know of that maybe a lot of people haven't heard of?
From Millwood?
Anywhere in the state in Class 2A.
You go through the top 5 teams there, and just their key cogs, the Calhoun kid at Victory Christian, Wakely, their quarterback. Those are really good players. Davis has another Summers kid that's going to be a junior, and he is dynamic.
Is that fair?
No, he is really good. You got the quarterback from Christian Heritage, Cargill, who's had a really great career. So he's just, you got another year experience on him, and he's going to be really good. The running back from Holland Hall is supposed to be a really talented kid.
Mm-hmm. But you mentioned the Cargill kid, Camden Cargill from Christian Heritage, almost 2,700 yards and 45 touchdowns passing last year. Bridge Bullard, a receiver, over 1,000 yards. So that's a big 1-2 punch there in Class 2A. And then another big one is, you mentioned Caleb Calhoun, the receiver from Victory Christian. His brother Keats, I believe, is at UCO now. He was a quarterback for the Conquerors, but now Caleb, 1,400 yards almost receiving last year, and Wakely, the quarterback, 2,800 yards, 27 touchdowns. 2A is just loaded with good teams and good players, and it makes it tough, which makes what you've done even more impressive, to be able to kind of put your name, that Chisholm name, up there near the top.
We don't feel like we have top end Division I talent, or even the top end Division II talent, but our kids buy into what we do, and they play hard, and they believe they can do it.
Well, you start week 0 here in just a couple of days. Minko at Chisholm. Of course, Minko's a well-coached team, good team. Some good bloodlines there, but I'm sure you guys are ready to get going.
Definitely ready to get going.
All right, well, thanks, Coach, a lot for joining us here again. That was our Class 2A preview. This is the Score Live Coaches Preview. Thank you for watching.